Mission complete. A team of scientists have finally returned to civilization after completing a NASA-funded isolation experiment to simulate life on Mars. The 6-person High Seas Mission 5 crew lived in a dome on the Mars-like landscape of Hawaii's Mauna volcano for 8 months. The dome was equipped with a kitchen, bathroom, common area, and 6 individual bedrooms. Though not confined to the inside, the crew were required to don spacesuits whenever they went outside. While in the habitat, the crew conducted scientific research, equipment testing, and resource tracking. They also had to learn to prepare food using dehydrated and shelf-stable ingredients. Communication with the outside were subject to a delay of 20 minutes, the same amount of time it takes for signals to reach Mars from Earth. To better understand the psychological impacts of a long-term space mission, they were fitted with sensors that gauge their moods and monitored interactions with other members. The mission is the 5th in a series of 6 studies designed to help NASA select crews that can do well on an expedition to the Red Planet. The 6th and final High Seas mission will also last for 8 months and is slated to begin in January of 2018. Ooh, Mars.
Astronauts might one day hibernate their way to Mars. Getting to Mars from Earth takes a long time, as long as 200 days. A group of scientists funded by NASA think astronauts could pass most of that time by hibernating in a sleep chamber, much like what you see here. Each chamber is outfitted with tubes that lower the body's temperature as well as provide nutrition. An intranasal cooling system would lower the astronaut's temperature by 5 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit, which significantly reduces metabolism. The astronaut is fed via catheters attached to the thigh or chest, while another tube carries waste away. This result is what's called a torpor-induced state, using therapeutic hypothermia. One concern is muscle atrophy due to lack of use. Scientists think they can address this through neuromuscular electrical stimulation. As the astronauts approach Mars, the wake-up cycle begins. Warming pads slowly raise the body's temperature. It takes roughly 1 hour for every 1 degree rise in body temperature. Fully awake after their long nap, the astronauts are ready to begin their Mars mission.
Nonprofit group plans permanent Mars colony. The race to Mars has begun. SpaceX chief executive Elon Musk says the company will send people to Mars by 2024, and he will reveal plans for colonization in September. Meanwhile, a nonprofit group also aims to establish permanent Mars colonies, sending the first group of astronauts by 2026. After Earth, Mars is the most habitable planet in our solar system. It has similar natural resources, a temperate climate, and an adaptable gravitational pull on its surface. Nonprofit foundation Mars One has developed a plan to colonize Mars. It has already selected 6 teams of 4 individuals, and the first team will begin training next year. In 2020, Mars One will launch a communications satellite to the Red Planet. Between 2022 and 2025, a series of rovers will land and assemble livable habitats, which include a life support unit and a communication system. The living unit will house an inflatable living section and an airlock used by astronauts when leaving the sealed, habitable settlement. The unit will include materials for the construction of rooms, floors, and electrical outlets, and comes equipped with showers and kitchen areas. Additional units will arrive and be constructed as new teams join the colony. Attached to the living unit is the Environmental Control and Life Support System. The system will feed nitrogen and argon gas extracted from Mars's atmosphere into the habitable space as inert gases. Thin film solar photovoltaic panels will be included to generate electricity. The life support system will be equipped with heating units to boil and extract water from ice in the planet's soil. Once the astronauts have landed, it will also be in charge of water purification and removal of carbon dioxide from the living unit atmosphere. The colony's communication system will include 2 orbiting satellites, one around Mars and one around the Sun. The satellite orbiting Mars will only be interrupted when Mars is positioned between it and Earth. To counter the lapse, the second satellite orbiting the Sun will intercept and relay the transmission, allowing almost 24/7 communication with Earth. The colony will lose transmission only when the Sun is between Mars and Earth, and Mars is between its satellite and Earth simultaneously. Mars 1 will launch a team of 4 members every 2 years, starting in 2026. It will take a year after departing Earth for a team to land on the surface of Mars. The organization hopes to train and send new teams even after the initial 6 have colonized the planet.
TV show gives a glimpse of life on Mars. The first home designed for humans to live in on Mars will be unveiled at an exhibition in the UK on November 10th. The exhibition of the show home ties in with a National Geographic docu-drama that imagines colonists from Earth living on the red planet. The house would be constructed with Martian soil. The soil would be microwaved until it forms a brick. The bricks would be used to build the walls of an igloo-shaped dome, which would be around 10 feet thick. Recycled spacecraft parts, including a double airlocked entrance, would be used as the front door. Experts believe the dome would be able to withstand the Martian environment, including extremely low temperatures, micro-meteorite impacts, a thin atmosphere, and cosmic radiation. An underground area would contain facilities such as a dining hall and laboratory. The colony would expand module by module until it forms a city, termed Olympus Town. The exhibition at the Royal Observatory Greenwich in London coincides with the launch of the 6-part docudrama Mars, which tells the story of an attempt to colonize Mars in the year 2033.
Lockheed Martin unveils Mars base camp. Space engineering giant Lockheed Martin has released the concept design for a base camp that will orbit Mars. Lockheed Martin unveiled its Mars Base Camp design on May 18th with hopes that it will put astronauts into orbit in 2028. The 6-person spacecraft will have a living quarters, laboratory, solar arrays to generate power, and more. The Mars Base Camp relies on near-term technologies, equipment already proven or currently in development, including 2 Orion capsules currently being tested by NASA. The 2 capsules will link up with the larger habitat and laboratory modules. One of the Orions will also act as the brain of the vessel, providing navigation and communication systems, while the other acts as a backup. Lockheed Martin plans to launch the spacecraft in pieces to be assembled in space around the Moon. With the base camp in orbit, astronauts would be able to better explore the red planet. They would be able to control drones and rovers on the surface of Mars in real time, as opposed to the 20-minute delayed connection currently used between Mars and Earth. Later, modules could be added to allow astronauts to land on Mars and head to the base camp for the return trip to Earth. The future is near.